Yeah, so this is the real thing here. Like, a lot of people are asking me, what do you do in order to keep yourself safe and out of the PRISM stuff, right? And you can't. It's in the networking companies and the internet service providers. Many VPN companies are also, like, backdoored. Pretty much anybody who tells you that they can keep you safe from government spying is either trying to sell you some snake oil or they are participating in propaganda. If you're threat modeling the state, basically it's really, really hard to find a place that the United States government reach doesn't extend to. And so I don't mean like inside of the United States. I mean like anywhere in the world. For most people, most of the time, even like government persecuted people who are regularly persecuted by the government, you kind of don't rise to the level of like active monitoring basically until you do. So how do you keep yourself safe? Don't use an electronic device, like mail things. Go physically to talk to people. Organize with a bullhorn. There are people who do activism that's visible on social media, right? Like when I make these videos, technically this is activism on social media. But if what you're doing is organizing a protest, and you want it to be secret somehow, because it's going to be a big protest, don't use electronic devices to promote the protest or tell anyone who the organizers of the protest are. Get a big group of people that are committed first, like more than 100 people. Then have one person super disconnected from you that you do not know create the events or whatever on the internet. Don't text about it and don't send any information over the wires. The wires are tapped. That's what I'm trying to tell you. There's no VPN that's gonna keep you safe. Your password manager will not keep you safe on the internet. This is a really scary idea to a lot of folks. I'll remind you that I am literally in Texas while I own a uterus and am queer and have a queer trans child. So while this is not a good long-term situation for either of us, it is temporarily fine because right now we don't have an administration that is likely to launch a full-scale war against us. 2024 might be different, and so I'm ready to not be there. If you want to keep yourself safe, assume that if something goes awry, they may come for you. Keep your eyes on the news, and then if things start to get worse and worse, you kind of have a little bit of a run up to when things get quite bad that you can flee. Most of the time, mass persecution is just designed to make a certain population flee the country. So if you leave and then wait for things to chill out and come back, no one's going to be mad at you that you abandoned the country. The thing about threat modeling, right, is you have to look at your individual situation and say, what is the likelihood that the worst is going to happen to me? What can I do to mitigate or prepare for that? And is it worth it to prepare now for that thing that may happen in the future because of how certain it is to happen and how close we are to that happening and how much evidence I have that we're inching towards it? And at what speed are we inching towards that worst case scenario? There's a lot of bills all over the country targeting women and LGBTQs, and I think that there's some momentum towards scariness. So stuff like getting a plan to leave certain states before they close the borders, kind of thing. It's not a wrong or bad or stupid idea. Is it necessary that you execute this in the next 6 weeks? Probably not. I think we're 24 to 48 months away. So I think, get ready. Start thinking about where else you can go. Apply for asylum with Canada if you are trans. Sometimes those cases take time. So getting the paperwork started sometime in the next 3 months, that would be pretty smart of you. Because unless you're in the Pacific Northwest or certain parts of the East Coast, you are kind of close to people who want to harm you and governments who are like the lavender scare is coming back. Keep up to date with what the Southern Poverty Law Center is saying. Keep up to date with Bellingcat. And just be ready. You don't need to pack a go bag tomorrow. But ask the older queers in your life whether or not being mobile is a good idea right now, and they will tell you yes.